This presentation gets us started in network forensics. This is for the course CGS 5131 at University of Central Florida. My name is Rick Lineker. After this presentation, we'll be taking a look at Wireshark, browser history, and lots of other topics that will enable you to investigate a computer with regards to its network and internet usage. Many virus infections or bot client cases start as potential computer crime cases until you can determine the potential damage or intent. These cases require more rigor and discipline than security incidents. During some times of the year, there are many more cases, criminal or otherwise, than most law enforcement agencies have trained security professionals. To address this problem, most organizations are starting to use first responder tools. The first responder tool, Rapid Assessment and Potential Incident Examination Report, or RAPIR, developed by Steve Mancini and Joe Swint from Intel, is often used. Law enforcement has a similar tool made available to them by Microsoft called Computer Online Forensic Evidence Extractor, or COFE. The RAPIR tool is adapted from a tool that is used by Intel to collect a consistent set of data from a machine that is involved in an incident, no matter where in the world the incident has occurred and regardless of the skill of the first responder. The first responder is a term used to refer to the first technical resource. Normally this is going to be a system administrator or support personnel that arrives on the scene of a crime or an incident. RAPIR was originally designed by Steve Mancini and Joe Swint of Intel to be used by remote first responders to gather and forward a consistent set of information about suspected incidents to trained investigators. RAPIR can be found on Google Code at this URL, code.google.com/p/RAPIR. RAPIR is highly configurable. It provides an interactive interface, a set of command line parameters, and configuration files which can be used to specify which tests to run, email addresses for investigators, and IP addresses of a central RAPIR server. In a 2006 presentation to Forum for Incident Response and Security Teams, the developers claimed RAPIR is not a forensic tool. It does not honor most industry guidelines for a proper forensic examination with regard to not affecting the image or files upon the system. But remember, we talked about live incidents. Sometimes we can't always respect the integrity of all files if we've got some sort of an acute situation we've got to resolve. So you can either do a live incident response where you know that some things are going to be affected, or you can actually clone the machine and use VMware or something to do the investigation. However, in a virtual environment, RAPIR becomes a powerful tool for forensics for two reasons. If the investigator has established a clean snapshot, then investigator needs only to refresh the image to clean snapshot following a RAPIR run. In addition, one of these reports which RAPIR provides is a report of the system prior to the run and all changes which were made during the run. Using RAPIR, investigators are able to have the DST gather this information as part of normal response to suspected bot clients or virus-infected systems. Investigators are also able to determine the identity of other infected machines by examining security event and firewall logs. You also learn about the ports that are opened on the system by the malicious code. Sometimes the antivirus logs will identify files associated with a bot client or dates and times that it found malicious or suspicious code. The results provide a good snapshot of the state of the system. Using the results of a repair run, you can begin to determine if the suspected incident is real. If there is any chance that the incident is likely to involve law enforcement or a civil suit, you can seize the hard drive, collect 2 forensically sound images from the original hard drive, and begin the chain of custody. Both the original drive and one of the images should be securely stored as evidence, while the second image is used for all analysis. If you believe the second image has been tainted in any way, you can use the first image to make a fresh image to continue analysis. Gathering forensic evidence from a network-aware malware or botware incident frequently requires a live system. To gather dynamic evidence for this kind of incident, you can use VMware and a Java program called LiveView from SEI at Carnegie Mellon. LiveView lets you use an image of a hard drive to create a virtual machine in VMware. In this way, you can gather dynamic or behavioral evidence without affecting the actual image of the drive you are analyzing. Repair has the ability to identify a forensics server. Each client can be configured to send its result to the forensic server across the network. Analysis of these logs may indicate a need for deeper forensics. This information can be used by the Central Information Security Team to determine whether they should shut down the system, take a forensic image, then re-image the system with a known good image, or search for other files that may be related to or affected by the malicious code, leaving the system up and operational. The results of the repair run are examined by the Information Security Team. Okay, so I downloaded Repair. Now there are actually 2 versions I've got installed here. This is the 3.1 version, which was done by Intel. This is the 3.2 version, which Google is maintaining. So the first thing you have to do is actually run it from command line. If you run it, you can after you've done it once from command line, you can run it by double clicking. And it actually sets itself up. And I haven't found this to be perfect software. There's quite a bit of stuff that's sort of flaky. And one thing you're going to see here is that I did not set up a server, and I didn't totally set this up. There's quite a bit. There's actually quite a bit of setup you have to do if you want to get this working 100% of the time, or if you want to get this working for 100% of the features. The main thing is you have to set up a server. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and do everything that it's going to let me do here. And we'll just be satisfied with all those things. And even at that, you're going to get quite a bit. Okay. Even at that, you're going to get quite a bit of information. Test, run. Okay, so this is going to take a while. And I'm going to go ahead and snip some of this off between now and when it finishes, so you don't have to watch it just sitting here. Okay, so after quite a while, I think it was about 20 minutes, it finished. So let's take a look at what it found. Let's go into results. That's the name of my computer, today's date, and let's see what kind of information it gave us. Okay, that was where it actually imported everything, so that was just at runtime. Same thing, adding to the modules. Same thing. I think I ran this several times. Hopefully this will actually have some results. Okay, we actually have some analysis results. Here's ADS. Checksums of all of these, and that's going to help you to keep track over time if those actually change. Same thing for the Windows directory. So keeping these two on record is going to let you know when those files are going to change. Command lines.log. Okay. Drivers. This is actually pretty important because, as we've said before, you might have drivers that you didn't know were installed and might be doing some malicious things. Dump users. I don't have many users here on this computer, but if I did, you'd see them all there. GDI procs. GDI stands for graphical. GDI is the actual graphics system. General sys information. And this is a really nice collection of all this information, including Office programs, its version, so forth. This is actually a really, really nice snapshot. Helios, I actually canceled it. List DLLs. Okay, here we go. List modules. Okay. Application events. This is the same thing you could get from the event log, except here it's formatted in a nice, easily exportable way. Security events. This will tell you about login attempts and especially unsuccessful login attempts, which you would definitely be interested in. This is a pretty big file, that's why it's taking so long. It's 14 megs actually. Okay. Anyway. System events. Okay. Net.log. And I have quite a few shares. So this is a snapshot of a lot of network related information. Screenshot. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Screenshot.log. So now let's look up in here in IE activity. So I think it was actually missing. It's not actually configured to do that. All right, so this actually, WMI is actually the Windows management interface. This actually has quite a bit of volume level information. BIOS, all the information about the BIOS. Let's see what else. Computer system. I'm just going to kind of spot check this. Environment. Okay, let's see. Logical disk. Of course, this is pretty full since I have so many things plugged in. Let's see. Process. This is a pretty big file. There are a lot of processes running. Okay. Time zone, just good for the record. User account, volume, so forth. So there's quite a bit of information that got saved, and then you can make this part of your investigation record. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take a look at browser history. And if you go to Foxton Forensics, you'll see that they actually have quite a few offerings for products and investigative tools. Products. So they have products that allow you to look at tweets and browser history and analyze what's going on a client's computer. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and download the trial of their tool. And this is going to take a while, so I'm going to go ahead and snip out part of the video so you don't have to watch it. And as you can see, I've got a set up MSI. And as you can see, I've got a setup MSI here. And I'll go ahead and run that. And I'll snip some of this video so you don't have to watch it. It just does a pretty simple install. Okay, now we're going to run this. And it is a trial version, so but actually to buy it is only 99 British pounds, which really is not that much for a tool like this. So I'm going to say continue the trial for right now. And it's just going to let me know that because I'm in trial mode, it's only going to give me the first 25 records. So let's go ahead and expand this out. And I have to load a history. And for me, the easiest way to do it is to go to my user profile. You can actually, there's a capture tool that comes with this. You can actually capture in real time, and then you can load the capture. But for me right now, this is a lot easier. Now you're going to notice that this software is not necessarily perfect. Okay. So we get a number of errors. Even though I ran this in administrative mode, we get a number of errors, and I'm not totally sure why. Let me just check on the details. Who knows? Obviously, this was written in .NET, some sort of .NET. But I got quite a few errors, and that's about the third or fourth time I've run this. And I get those errors each time. Still, though, it's going to provide a lot of information. Okay, bookmarks. I normally don't bookmark anything, so these are just artifacts of those pesky things that get bookmarked for you. Of course, Pandora likes to do nasty things. Not nasty, but things you don't want. Maybe cookies. Like for instance, I have all of my logins that get saved to a cookie, so I don't have to keep typing stuff. Downloads, you're going to see that I downloaded a lot of forensic software today. Let's see. Here's where we just were. This was the repair. That's the Intel repair and so forth. So that's actually really good, because if you're trying to track down some malicious software, this is really going to help you see what the user has done. Okay, email addresses. I actually use webmail most of the time anyway. So this is telling me most it's a friend of mine. Let's see. It even tells you when people are sharing Google Docs. Like that's from someone who's sharing a Google Doc with me. So that's actually nice. Favorite icons. Forum history. This might actually be really helpful. Let's see if I can get more information. Okay, so I can actually go to the URL, which is nice. Logins, places I've logged into. It's not going to show you like your login name or your password or anything, because those are going to be encrypted in a cookie. Searches, you'll notice I have a lot of forensic searches like Steg Detect, forensic internet history, live view, SourceForge repair, and so forth. Gives you a really good idea. This is actually how they've tracked down a lot of criminals and established intent, is that they actually would do an internet search for like how to kill my wife or how to kill my husband or something. And here's Wireshark Labs down here and so forth. So session tabs, thumbnails. This is actually pretty nice. It actually puts a picture on some of the things you've been seeing in website visits. So let's go to report preview. Pretty basic information actually. Now the JSON viewer is actually really nice if you're dealing with Ajax-enabled websites, and actually I do normally um, a lot of JSON work, so for me that's of special interest. One of the drawbacks to this tool is it's not forensically sound. It's a really good investigative tool, but if you have to install it on a computer in order to investigate a computer, then basically you've overwritten some of the artifacts that you might be looking for. If all you're looking for is browser history, you're okay. But if there might be deleted files on the system or something, then this would not be good. What you could do is install it before you actually use it. Just if you work for a company or you're part of IT or you want to have it on your home, go ahead and pre-install it everywhere. And that way, if you have to do an investigation of some sort, you don't have to install it and potentially overwrite evidence you're looking for. Another thing that would be really nice is I wish someone would write a forensically sound history viewer. That would actually be really nice. Just kind of plant a bug there. That it would probably be a well-used tool that's used quite a bit. Also, the fact that this tool is written in .NET may or may not be okay, but if it was really a more robust tool, it would be written in C++ in native code, so that you wouldn't have to rely on any of the .NET runtime. Not that that's necessarily bad for a lot of things, but mostly for forensic tools, you think of stuff that is in native code is probably a little bit better. So I'm going to take a look at another tool which is pretty good, developed by nirsoft. Let's go ahead and download it. Okay, so we can download it here. And I'm going to snip out a bit of this so you don't have to watch it download. Okay, you notice it's a standalone exe, so let's go ahead and run that right out of the zip file. It should run okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you this. Lots of advanced options. Here are the web browsers you can choose from. So I'm just going to say okay. This is the actual application, so it's actually taking some time to look. I could stop it here if I wanted to. So I'm going to snip part of this out so you don't have to watch it. It may take quite a while. Okay, here we are back again. And let's go ahead and get a little space on this. Now the nice thing about this is this is not a trial version, so there's no limit. It is, however, quite a bit less thorough than the other one. So let me go ahead and sort by web browser. Login, that's my webmail, YouTube. So I was watching a lot of YouTube, so forth. Okay, so anyway, this is a nice tool. Now I will say this is forensically sound. Since there's no install, you just can double click this even right out of the zip. This could actually go on your flash drive and you'd be okay forensically. So the nirsoft tool that we just looked at, all it does is let you look at browsing history. And as I said when we were looking at that, it's fairly limiting because that's all you get is the browser history. However, it's forensically sound. So that's a huge advantage. Now, I'm back on the nirsoft website, and in all fairness to them, they provided all of those tools. They're just separate tools. Like, for instance, the IE cookies view is going to really give us what we were looking for. This gives us a tool that we can use to examine the IE cookies. So it's not as convenient as the last thing that we looked at. However, here again, it's forensically sound. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this tool. Here again, we're running it right out of the zip file. Okay, let's take a look at this. And it gives us really what we need in order to, take a look at all the cookies. If we single click on them, it gives us information, Dropbox static, Epson printers, Epson, University of Colorado, go.microsoft.com. And then if you double click it, it actually gives you, values as far as it can go. If they're encrypted, let me see if I can find something with an encrypted. Let's see, this is IE. So I don't use IE very much. Let me see if I can. Well, this tool is just for IE, I think. So I rarely use IE. So that's why. Now, why would ricklineker.com have cookies? That's just I use a tracking mechanism so I can remember how many visitors I have to my website, and it saves a cookie just to store whether or not they're first-time visitors or not. Of course, you can delete the cookie and then it doesn't know. But anyway, that's looking at cookies. Let's take a look at one more of their tools. Let's see. So these are for different things. Let's take a look at Chrome History View. Scroll on down and download this guy. This website actually is really, really nice as far as it's consistently laid out, and the software is actually really well done. And remember that first thing, the first browser history thing we looked at, it was actually pretty flaky. It kind of had all those warnings, but I haven't seen that with this. This is also written in native code, and it's forensically sound. So there are actually quite a few reasons to go ahead and use these tools from nirsoft. Okay, so here we have it. It's already run, and it's going to be telling me, where I've been and so forth. A lot of this actually is for my computer, because I develop a lot of websites and stuff on my computer, AT&T, paying my bills and stuff. So essentially, the nirsoft utilities have a separate utility for each browser, but here again, and while that might seem really inconvenient, it really turns out to be a better deal than using a non-forensically sound tool that is a little more convenient and has bugs. So the last of these tools I'm going to look at is My Last Search, just because this will turn out to be one of the most useful tools in this entire set. Let me go ahead and download this. I'll snip some out of the video. Okay, so it's just here again within a zip file. Let me go ahead and run it. All right, so it's running, and it's trying to give me my browser history and find out my most recent searches. And you can see most of them have to do with, or all of them actually have to do with steganography and browser history and so forth, networks. So these are the searches I've been doing this morning on preparing for this presentation. Okay.